Hi, this is Ryan Steiner, and in this video, I'm going to go over the circuit and the code for my water watcher robot. My robot basically does two different things independently. It's going to move these three motors here in response to input from a remote control. I have the right motor and the left motor. These would be the ones in the back that are going to shoot out water and cause the robot to move forward. And then I have a front motor, which is going to shoot out water and cause it to move backward. These four buttons here, the actual robot would have a remote control with an RF sensor that sends it signals, but I don't have that access to that in TinkerCAD. And so these four buttons represent the four buttons that would be on the remote control. This one moves forward, this one moves backward, this one rotates left, this one rotates right. And then I also have these three LEDs, and these are going to blink if something is wrong with the water. The red one is going to blink if something is wrong with the temperature. It's tied to this temperature sensor right here. The blue one is going to blink if something's wrong with the pH of the water. I don't have a pH monitor, so I just use a soil moisture sensor as a substitute. And then the green one is going to blink if something is wrong with the water salinity. And I also have a soil moisture sensor as a substitute. Okay, and then let's go ahead and look at my code. So first, here's all of my pins. I have counters that I'm going to use to track time. And I also have these flags that I'm going to use if the temperature, pH, or salinity is out of the threshold that's healthy for the penguins. Um, I have everything here set up. And then if you look at this loop, what's going to happen is it's on a delay of 20 milliseconds. So every 20 milliseconds, it's going to choose the movement. And then down here, it's basically going to check, is the forward button on? If so, it's going to turn on the corresponding engines. Is the back button on? Is the right button on? Whichever one button is being pressed, it's going to turn on that engine. If nothing is turned on, it turns all the engines off. So that's going to happen all the time. But then I have these counters where if this counter goes to 25, that means that 0.5 seconds have passed. And so it's going to check if it needs to blink any of these three lights. Then if this counter here is at 500, that means that 10 seconds have passed. And every 10 seconds, it's going to measure the temperature, the pH, and the salinity again. Otherwise, it's just going to increment the counter and then keep going. So let's go ahead and see this in action. Oh, also here is the code for blinking the LEDs here. Just checks if if a flag that the pH, salinity, or temperature is off, and then it blinks the corresponding LED. Here's my method for measuring the temperature. This one's actually accurate, where if the temperature is less than 4 or greater than 10, it's going to blink. The functions for measuring pH and salinity, I just chose arbitrary values for the soil moisture sensors for it to blink to because I don't have access to an actual salinity or pH sensor. Okay, so first, notice that I have all three of my lights blinking, and we'll deal with that in a second. But first, let's go ahead and test the buttons. This is the move forward button, and so you notice that when I press it, the engines are going to turn on. The back two engines are going to turn on, which would cause it to move forward. If I press the move backward button, this front engine down here is going to turn on. It's going to cause it to move backward. If I turn on the rotate left button, it's going to rotate just this engine's going to turn on, which is going to rotate it left. And if I rotate it right, just this engine will turn on, which will cause it to rotate right. So that all works. And then if I want to fix the blinking here, I need to make sure that all of my different qualities are okay for the penguins. So first I need to make my temperature between 8 and 10 degrees Celsius. Notice now the red light's not blinking. And then again, for these were arbitrary values, but it's something like this, where if I set these soil moisture thresholds, notice how the blue and green LEDs are not blinking anymore. But if it falls out of whack, one of them is going to start blinking again. And then independent of that, notice how my engines are still working. All right, that is it. Thank you for watching.